G'day everyone, it's SDS SuperCoach, providing SuperCoach content for you. I'm here to present our first look at SuperCoach being wide open. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, SuperCoach is open for 2023 now. Now, don't mind this team here because in order for me to not show off my current side, I'm recording a video with SuperCoach Pro tonight, and we're going to be doing our live reactions to our team update. So a bit something different compared to a regular team update. So we thought we'd give that a crack. So this is what I just filled with a bunch of blokes that I'm sure we won't be picking for 2023. But yeah, I'm gonna go over some of the new things in SuperCoach, and as well, I'm gonna look at the percentages of players now. So we can now see how many people in the SuperCoach community own a certain player. So we're going to be reviewing all that and obviously the new things. So before I get started, thank you very much for 300 subscribers. That was my aim at round one, and we absolutely nailed it. It's not even February. It's January 24th, and we've absolutely smashed it out of the park. So I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you so much for the support. It's been amazing. And let's not stop there. We may as well just keep growing. As I said, the more subscribers that we can have, the better the content can get, or the more flexibility I have with my content. So make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, and I reply to any comments. So let's get straight into it, shall we? So what's new with SuperCoach? Now, obviously, we can see the format is very different. Instead of being on the left side, we've now got to go up here where it says game day, leagues, rankings, players, all that stuff. So it looks a lot cleaner than it did last year. I won't lie. I reckon it looks a lot nicer. I would like for SuperCoach, when you're scrolling down, I'd like it to be a bit more smoother than this. It was a bit of a problem the past couple of years, but it's very early days of it opening, so maybe they might change it. Another thing is that we've got 36 trades right here for the season. And it doesn't say here, but apparently we've got 5 trade boosts as well. So they've kept the boost format, which I really like. Adds a bit of extra element and extra bit of strategy, tactic. What are my thoughts on 36 trades? I personally think it's a little too much. Personally, I think the perfect number now with the extra round, I reckon around 32 would have been nice, but I think they're adding a few extra trades than usual over the past couple of years because they want, the average Joe to keep going. When they've spent too much trades, we've got a few extra to work with. So I think it's just keeping the average Joe interested in the game, and I think that's been pretty important. So what else have we got? I noticed something down here as well. So we've got buy rounds, team spend. So this is how much you've spent on each line here. League head-to-heads, that's always been there. I feel like teams, I could be a dumbass here, but I feel like team spend's pretty new. Buy rounds, of course, so it tells you how many players you got in each buy, and then another way to look at it is show buys. It tells you the players, of course, what players do have a certain buy. Personally, I wouldn't really worry about buys during the preseason, even for the first 6-7 weeks. To be honest, I think. Worry about upgrading your side. Obviously, you need to keep in mind if I've got a buy where I don't know, there's no premiums down back with that buy, I might target the round 14 buy to chip in and upgrade in that position. So, but as I said, when you're building your first team, you just want to make sure you get it right. Don't overthink it. So don't be worrying about too much about the buys. You can always navigate your way around that during the season. So. That's just my opinion. I think just worry about nailing your team. So 36 trades. So still plenty of work with. As I said, I think maybe a few too many, but is what it is. So we got game day as well. That hasn't changed at all. Of course, I'm Smudwise Soldiers. Again, I'm in some random public league, which I'll eventually leave because I'll be filling the head-to-head leagues, all 10 of them, one way or another. I think what we're going to do, I haven't really discussed this with Brad as well, but I think what I'm going to do for leagues and league codes, I think I'm going to do 2 just for SDS SuperCoach. I'm going to do a third one with Brad where both of us are in it and we're going to send out a code. So that's what I'm thinking. Early days. I haven't really discussed it with Brad. I'll be interested to see what I think. And if you can't get into one of my leagues, then I'm probably going to start up an ultimate group league. I'll start one up, I reckon. We've obviously got rankings as well. Obviously, there's nothing there. Then players, of course, that hasn't changed past seasons. One thing I've noticed, recreate 2022 league. So I found that pretty interesting. I don't think I'm going to do it. I certainly want it to be, I've got a lot more of a community now. So I remember last year, it took me like 2 or 3 videos to fill up the league. And I even had to go on Serious SuperCoach's Facebook group to just say, hey, this is the league. So hopefully it can go a lot quicker this season. Look, I think we've reviewed everything. So let's get into the player ownership percentage. So I'm very interested to see this. I have had a little glance at it, so I just need to become prepared. Obviously, number one is Tom Stewart, 42%, getting a lot of support for the Cats defender, 42%. So he's equal highest owned player down back. I understand it. When you don't own him, it feels like he kills you. When you have him, like for me last year, when I had him, he was crap. So yeah, 42% is fair and reasonable. 604K. It's better than like the Sicilies and Sinclairs of the world, where you have to pay an extra 20 to 30K to get those blokes in. Campbell Chester, 42%. Now I can understand that, because he's a bit of a big name, I guess, in terms of a rookie, but he's getting he's slowly getting molded into pre-season. And for me, that seems like his ankle's still going under a bit more rehab. So I personally won't be picking him early days. Maybe he might feature round one, but not at the minute. He hasn't had he hasn't been a part of the pre-season all that much. Nick Dacos, 39%. Last time I checked, it was 38%. Yeah, he's just getting a lot of support. And fair enough, one of the absolute stars of the competition at such a young age, one of the faces of modern day AFL. So I can totally understand with Nick Dacos there. Connor McKenna, 38%. I'm surprised this isn't higher. He should really be on 50 plus % in my book. Darcy Wilmot, 36. He's having a good preseason, but I just wonder if he's going to have enough opportunity now with McKenna on the side. We'll have to see. Elliot Yeo, 34%. Well, he's going to be very popular at the minute because he's not injured, or he hasn't been injured. He's had a ripping preseason, so I can totally understand that. Ruben Ginby's on 32. Looks like a young kid that's going to be playing early. Apparently, Corey Wagner did his hamstring, so he's at 28%. But I might expect that to drop. I'm not sure how close he is to being in the round one team. Jordan Dawson, I'm really surprised isn't higher than this. 27% feels a bit low. I was almost a bit surprised. I thought he would be up there with the Tom Stewart percentage. So interesting to see that Jordan Dawson's on 27%, a bit lower than I thought. James Sicily is on 624K, 22%. I don't think I'm going with him. I think the price is too much personally for a defender. Would rather be paying up in the midfield. Josh Goater, 20%. If he can find a way in that North Melbourne backline, then he's certainly one to think about. Josh Weddle, 130K. Looks like he could be an early candidate for round one for the Hawks. So I think he could be a rookie for us. Charlie Dean, apparently could be round one, but we're just going to have to track how his preseason is. He's up against Darcy Moore, Billy Frampton, all that. So hopefully he can get a game. Charlie Constable, a bit higher than I thought. I think he didn't. Did he play a game last year? He played one game. So I wouldn't. I don't think he's much of a chance round one. Jack Bowes, 15%. Yeah, he's a cheeky option if Elliot Yeo goes down as that mid-pricer down back. Sam Doherty, 603K. It's rumoured that he's going to be playing a bit more midfield at the minute due to Hewitt and Walsh struggling a bit during pre-season, obviously I think they're both due to back injuries, to my knowledge. Will Gould, That's just there for the memes. Nick Caulfield, I'll tell you what, I saw a photo of him the other day. He looks wham. He looks strong. 208,000, that's going to be very interesting to see if he can crack into that St Kilda side. Jack Sinclair, yeah, I think the price is putting off a lot of people. A bit of uncertainty at the minute. He might be spending a bit more time in the midfield. Hayden Young's a bit lower than I thought. I actually reckon he's up there with versing Nick Dacos as a pick. So that's how much I rate his prospects for 2023. Liam Jones, 228k. Don't know. I'm not sure if he's much of an option. He's going to be playing a lot of one-on-one defence. He's not. I don't think he'll intercept too much. There's rumours that Josh Bruce will intercept a fair bit. So I'm not sure about Liam Jones. Angus Brayshaw, I've been big on him. I'd keep track of him. He's training with the midfielders. Christian Salem, yeah, 7%. I think we're starting to head into some questionable territory now. Aaron Francis, if he can get a game, apparently he's playing intercept defending, so keep that in mind. Harry Himmelberg's training with the forwards. Lockie Cowan could feature early due to Doherty moving up more into the midfield. Jason Gilby. Allison could play round one now due to King and Hayes. They won't be there for round one. Brett Montgomery, I've heard some good things about. Hunter Clark, Riccardi, Darcy, yep. And now Redmond's a little lower than I thought. But yeah, we're starting to head into some real deep cut territory here. Ed Richards, 2%. I know George is pretty big on him. Tom Cole, 1%. Yep, Liam Stocker's in there. Okay. Let's just add him. All right, let's check into the mid. Actually, no. Let's just add this bloke. Let's just add Toby McLean. We're going to do the ruck. No, we're going to do the forwards next. So Josh Dunkley, 63%. That's what we like to see. Well, not what we like to see, but that's what we expected. He's a very good option. He's going to be the clear number one forward in the game, in my opinion. So, yeah, Josh Dunkley, I think 63% is very reasonable. Toby McLean's another one that is just, yeah, it's pretty obvious that he should be in a lot of sides, in my opinion. Tim Taranto at 50%. Yeah, he's just absolutely flying at Richmond midfield. In that Richmond pre-season. I'll go through these a bit quicker. I feel like I went really slow on the defence. I don't need to go a whole speech on everyone. Nick Mann, we'll save these two for the rucks. Josh Sins, 36%. I had a Port fan a few weeks back. It might have been Shano in my comments. He did say that he doesn't think Sin will play round one. So that's really the reason why I haven't got him in my current team that you'll see tonight. Connor Rosie, 33%. Thought that'd be a little bit higher, but still a decent percentage. Now, Fife, he's training with the forwards. I think that's a bad sign. I know it's a beautiful price and we know what he's capable of, but I think if it's Fife versus Yeo, because I'm not sure if you can go both unless you're going a bit low on premiums, I'd probably edge it to Yeo at this stage. Philippou could play round one. He's showing good signs. I just don't know what his role is. Ben King, probably a bit too high in my opinion. I don't really like his scoring history, in my opinion. Stephen Canelio, 22%. He's gotten a bit of love recently on Twitter. So that's very interesting to see. I think Cogs is certainly more of a safe option than your Connor Rosie and all that. But I actually think he's more of an upgrade target throughout the season. Oscar Allen, 18%. That's fair enough. I prefer him over Ben King as a selection if you can afford him. Finn McRae gets a bit of love, but just don't know how close he is to round one. Joe Richards, yeah, I don't mind that. Mature age rookie. Jacob Van Ruyen's shown some good signs during preseason. Apparently, he'll be getting a few games next year. Josh Bruce, if he can get that intercept defending role, then I think he's a real solid chance of being a pick for us in the forward line. Blake Drury, I don't know too much about him, can't say. Owen Davey, I think one of them's injured. I think they've just picked him for the name, but I don't think he's close to round one. Tom Berry could get a bit more opportunity at the Suns that he didn't at the Brisbane Lions, so he'll be one to keep an eye on. James Zetas, not too sure. Sheasel, too expensive, and I apparently played a bit on the wing in a match sim, but Again, I just think that's too expensive. I think he's the Josh Rochelli of 2023. Ben Cunnington, yeah, the price was a lot more expensive than I would have thought, so I can understand the 9%. Zach Butters is a bit lower than I thought. I thought he would have been up around that 18%. I still think he's a very solid option. Taron Thomas, obviously, he's been a bit of a naughty boy as of late, but we're just going to have to see how that plays out with the team and also what his role is. Apparently, he could be playing a bit off halfback, rotating in the middle a little bit, which I find interesting. He's certainly one to keep an eye on. Fergus Green, I expect to play around one, so I understand that. I don't know how much money he's going to make, though. Sava Radigaleo, Tom Hawkins has undergone surgery. I forgot on what exactly, but I think he's a chance to miss round one, Tom Hawkins. And Sava Radigaleo, if you're going with Darcy Cameron at R2, then he's a bloke that you could probably chuck in at F6 and you know, you can just swap them if you totally need to as cover. Horn Francis, 7%, not a full preseason. Bailey Humphrey, I don't know where he's at. We've already talked about Francis. Dusty, too old, sorry, in my opinion. These are all my opinion. You can all go for all these players if you want. I'm not stopping you, but I'm just giving my honest opinion on them. Himmelberg's training with the forwards. It's a nope. We already talked about Allison. Cooper Harvey, don't know too much about his preseason early days. Charlie Comben could have a big 2023 with Goldie aging. Sherry is not exactly the answer for North Melbourne. Sam Flanders, he's one in high consideration for me. Apparently he's had a great preseason, so I'm keeping him in mind. Luke Jackson, no. And then we're starting at Cadman, key forward, wouldn't go there. Yeah, there's a few deep cuts now here. Dylan Moore, yeah, that's just Shai Bolton, no. So, yeah, there you go. I don't think we need to go through any more in the forward line. Let's just add some random geezer. We'll pay honours to Fisher Mackesy. All the best for the rest of his life, of course. The rucks, this should be pretty quick. Ryan Marshall, 43%, I think is fair, but I'm a bit questionable at what the status is currently in St Kilda's ruck forward situation. Of course, now it's Hayes and King out for the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season. And then, of course, Tom Campbell, he's dealing with some Achilles soreness. And I don't think he's back to full training till March. So there's a real question. Now, you could say that's a positive thing for Ryan Marshall, but at the same time, does that mean they need him more in the forward line as well if there's not many options? So I don't know. It's a bit up in the air for me. Oop, didn't mean to click on that. Nick Madden, everyone's loophole. So I can understand that until we get a set in stone player, which I'm not sure if we'll get. If we get a ruck rookie, then obviously we don't go with Madden. But if that ain't the case, then Madden's the ruck forward loop, vice captain loophole. Darcy Cameron, 465k. Apparently had a little issue in training. We all got a bit concerned, but he's all good. He's training just fine now. Tim English, 29%, is a little bit low in my opinion. I personally rate him so far as the best option in the rucks at this stage. So I'm a bit surprised with how low he is. I thought he would be up there with Marshall, but interesting to see. Brody Grundy, apparently he's doing really well in preseason too, Tim English. Brody Grundy, I just don't want to touch the Melbourne rucks until we know what the fuck's going on. Oh, sorry. I usually don't swear in these videos. So apologies for that if you're offended. Hopefully not. Jared Witts, 9% is the second most expensive ruck for SuperCoach heading into round one, and I think he's actually not the worst option. If there's too many question marks in the rucks, you can fall back on Witts, and you just know that's a safe option. Savaretta Galea, we've already talked about. Lloyd Meek apparently is cut and sick in pre-season for the Hawks. And he's one certainly. Reeves has only just gotten back to full training. And I think Meek could be a very cheeky option if Reeves does go down at some point. Sam Draper is really flying under the radar. I really don't mind Sam Draper as like the Jared Witts of 2023 almost. We really got to target these sole rucks at clubs. And Sam Draper, I mean, I don't think they're going to play 2 rucks. So I think Sam Draper's a really nice option. Again, don't really want to touch the Freo rucks. Need a bit more evidence to say otherwise. Who is this? Hamish Free. I've never heard of him. I usually hear a lot about AFL news and all that. I've got no idea who this bloke is. Can any North Melbourne blokes or AFL fans tell me who Hamish Free is? I've never seen this name. Max Heath could get a little bit of a run, considering St Kilda's injuries in the rucks and forwards. Just not sure on it yet. Scott Lycett. And then I think we're starting to head into some real dodgy territory. Gone on 2%, fair enough. All right, let's add some random bloke. Yep, McBride, you're in. All right, let's finally go through the forwards. This video has gone for a very long time, so I'm going to do as quick as I can. Will Ashcroft, 61% is very good and to be expected. I think he'll be featuring a lot for the Lions for a lot of 2023, so I do expect, that was expected, 61%. Toby McLean, did we talk about Toby McLean? Yeah, I think we did. Clayton Oliver, 50%, that's to be expected. He's just an absolute gun for SuperCoach, and I just expect him to keep on firing. I think he's all good from that thumb surgery, so yeah, it's a totally understandable pick. Jacob Hopper, I'm actually really surprised that he's not higher. 48%, geez. This is probably the most baffling one to me. I thought he'd be the most highest-owned player in the game. I just think he is a perfect option at M5, M6, whatever primo setup you're running in the midfield. But yeah, I thought he'd be near on 70%. So there you go. Will Phillips, very solid option. I totally understand it. He's doing really well in pre-season. From what we talked about. Is it Chesser? Yeah, it's Chesser, not Cheeser. I get that confused. So Chesser. Toke Miller, 36%. If you don't want to go with Oliver Laird, then he's a good fallback guy. And he's going to be a very solid pick for the whole year. So I totally understand it. Already talked about a few of these blokes here. Just DPP now getting in the way with some of these midfielders. Marcus Bontempelli, 30%. With Josh Dunkley out of the side, you expect a bit more inside midfield time for the Bont, and he's just an absolute champion of the game. Jack Steele, he's not even back in full pre-season. So at the start of SuperCoach, I was like, absolute lock, got to lock him in. But no, he's obviously really good value, but his pre-season's a bit up in the air at the minute. So I'm not going with him at this stage. So in my team update, you'll see that he's not in my team for tonight. Tom Mitchell, 528K, 24%. I understand it. So it's going to be like him versus Tom Green versus Chad Warner versus LDU, that sort of thing. So yeah, I can get it if you're going to back Tom Mitchell. If you're not a big fan of his handballing, then you're going to see it a lot more next year, because what I think he's going to do, he's going to get real in and under in the stoppages and get the handball out to Dacos, DeGoey, Pendlebury, you name it, Josh Dacos, whatever. Matt Johnson apparently is showing early signs for round one, and apparently he's looking really good. He obviously didn't play at all last year at AFL level. So I think he's a real solid option to be a rookie for us. Again, a few of those blokes we've already gone through. Jack McRae, 20%. I understand if you don't want to go with Bont. I think you got to go with, in my opinion, I think you got to go with one of Bont or McRae. I've leaned towards Bont at this stage. Connor Blakey, experienced head, could play round one, but how good is he? How actually, like, Gold Coast are looking to push for finals for 2023. Is he actually best 23? I'm not too sure. He might be maybe a cheeky medical sub, or no, it's not even a medical sub anymore, a tactical sub. Tom Green, 18%, a little bit lower than I thought. I thought he'd have been up there with Tom Mitchell in terms of ownership, but I think he's a very solid option if you need to go with a value M4 or M5 premium. So I totally understand it. Lockie Neal, 16% is a little bit lower, but I think if you're not, I think people are leaning more towards Tuke Miller over a bloke like Neal due to age, him being tagged every week, that sort of thing. Okay. Andy Brayshaw, 12%. I just wonder with O'Meara coming in, a couple of other of these Fremantle blokes who might be spending a bit more time in the midfield, is there a way that he could be spending a bit of time on the wing? That'll be very interesting to see. George Wardlaw, I don't think he's even in full preseason, so I'd be surprised if he was a pick for round one early days. Rory Laird, 11%, just too expensive, but hopefully we can find a way to get him in our sides at some point in the year. But total respect to Rory Laird, absolutely saved my season last year. Cam McKenzie, 10%. I expect him to play round one, to be brutally honest. Apparently he was really good in the latest match sim for the Hawks. It looked fantastic, beautiful kick, all that good stuff. James Worpel, I think he could have a big 2023, but we're just going to have to see if that actually translates. All this talk, and I think it's all talk to buy memberships and stuff for AFL clubs, but we're just going to have to see if he walks the walk now. Is that the saying? I think it is. Oscar Baker, 10%. I think he could find a way to be a role player for the Dogs next year. So he's a very solid rookie at this point in time. So I totally understand it. Who else we got? Like Davies Uniacke's a bit low, 9%. I was a bit surprised about this. 9%. Well, I thought he'd be up there with the Mitchells, the Tom Greens. Maybe it's because he's like 20 or 30K more expensive than those blokes, but no, people are big on him. Sorry, a bit gassy today. Don Sheed, 9%. Jacob Hopper's a much better option at this point in time, so we're just going to have to see Dom Sheed. Apparently he's doing really well in preseason as well, so maybe a little bit low. Cripps. Now, I saw a stat on Twitter where there's been a lot, since I think the 2015 Brownlow medal, every Brownlow medalist winner dropped off the season after that, other than Dangerfield in 2016. So, the 2016-2017 season for Dangerfield. So, does that mean that could be a sign that Cripps just drops the ball a little bit? But he's going to have a lot more opportunity in that midfield with Walsh and Hewitt. Hewitt's status, they are both under a bit of an injury cloud. So that'll be interesting to see. I wouldn't go with him, though. Elijah Hewitt could play round one, but I haven't heard much from him in pre-season. Chad Warner, 6%. Some people are going there. They might prefer him over Tom Green or Tom Mitchell. Elijah Zardes did his hammy. No, he did his meniscus, injured his meniscus. He's out for 2 months, so he won't be featuring round one. Callum Mills, 5%. If you want to go with an ultimate pod, then he's certainly an option. Ollie Hollins could play round one. He's on 4% at this point in time. And then after that, we're looking at a bit low here. So Darcy Parish on 3%. He's a bloke that I'm really looking as a cheeky pod for round for the midfield premium. So he certainly want to keep an eye on. And then you've got blokes like Noah Anderson, Bailey Smith, all that good stuff. So, all right, look, this video's gone on for a fair while, so I'll wrap it up here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It's always good having SuperCoach opening. And also, subscribe. I'm posting on TikTok as well, so make sure you tune in. Make sure you follow me on TikTok, so I'm posting a bit more on there related to this channel, of course. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tonight for a video I'm recording with SuperCoach Pro. Cheers. Have a good one, guys.